Hey everyone, this is the Love of Cinema podcast. We like to talk movies. If you like to talk movies too, you come to the right place.
When I was in Channel V, there was a guy I used to work with. Amazing artist, amazing guy, right? But knew every guy in the underworld. And it was like, wow. I mean, and so I've been with him. He used to say, like, Shashanka, you want to go out? I'm going to meet some guys. Lucky Ali is coming there. You also come. So I was sucker for music. So I went up with him. And there I saw, hung out with Lucky a bit. And then I saw these two guys there, young guys, by today's standards, very coolly dressed. But that time, not many people wore their shirts tucked out. And then I realized they had guns.
Few weeks before Munna Bhai MBBS released in 2003, another Arshad Warsi film released in the cinemas. A smaller film, but just as funny and a lot more quirky. It is not only one of my favorite Warsi films, but also one of my favorite films of the 2000s. A curiously titled film, Waisa Bhi Hota Hai Part 2, was the brainchild of writer-director Shashanka Ghosh, who until then was known as Channel V's pioneering creative director in India. The humor of Waisa Bhi Hota Hai was perhaps a bit too ahead of its time, and perhaps that's why the movie still slaps, and so does its banger of a soundtrack. This is Himanshu, and you're listening to the Love of Cinema podcast. But before moving on, an important reminder. If you enjoy organic conversations centered on Indian cinema, Love of Cinema podcast was created for people just like you. So if you find value in the podcast, if it helps you in discovering new films, or new facets about familiar films, do consider supporting the show. Love of Cinema podcast is my passion project, and with every episode, I've attempted to create something that cinephiles will continue to find value, not just today, but over time as well. To create something that goes beyond banter, beyond trending films. So if you find value in the conversations on the podcast, please do consider supporting the show. Your support will help me continue creating content with shelf life for fans of Indian cinema everywhere. You'll find the link to support the show in the show notes. You can also support the show directly from the podcast website. It's fast, it's easy, and your support is greatly appreciated. Independent pods like this one don't have a platform for amplification and distribution. Independent pods rely on amplification through its listeners. So if you like the episode, please share the episode on social media, as that will help other people discover the pod. Back to today's episode. Since I really liked the film so much, I wanted to do something around the film as it turns 20 this week. I was delighted to connect with Shashanka Ghosh just in time to have him on the pod for this episode. A shout out to Gautam Govind Sharma for helping me connect with him. Thanks again, Gautam. Waisa Bhi Hota Hai is a crazy film, and if I may take the liberty of saying so, Shashank is a little crazy too. Because only a person who's a bit crazy could have imagined such a film and pulled it off. Shashank and I chatted about the film, its making, its terrific soundtrack, the film's humor, Arshad Warsi and Sandhya Mridul's casting, and some of my favorite moments from the film, including one of the greatest throwaway jokes from Hindi films of 2000s. A joke around a certain Gregory Peck. Crazy film, crazy stories. Shashanka Ghosh. Here goes. Hey Shashank, how are you doing?
Hi, Himanshu. I'm good, man. And I'm really happy we are doing this.
Hey, thank you so much. Waisa Bhi Hota Hai Part 2 is one of my favorite films. It's turning 20 this year. And so I'm just glad that we're getting to chat about this wonderful movie.
Very recently means about a year and a half ago, my producer said, I've got a lot of guys telling me that, re-release this movie, at least put it on OTT. And I was like, yeah, let's do that, man. But I'd like to cut it then a little.
Right, right. No, but seriously, this should be on one of the major streamers because there is a print on YouTube. It's a ragtag print, but still, I mean, you
Yeah, I
have
know.
access to
I know. I know. This is my producer's problem. He's always busy with 30 other things.
I can understand. Yeah, yeah. And it's also it has to do with rights and all that stuff, I imagine. So,
Yeah, no. I mean, he owns everything. I don't know what he's doing about it. That's all.
all right. Hopefully, you guys get around that. So,
Yeah,
Shashank,
yeah.
this movie came out 20 years ago. So, we're talking 2003. So, I just want to
Right.
wind back the clock for a minute. So, if I'm not mistaken, this was your first film, right?
This is my first movie.
Right.
Yes.
And so before this, you were with Channel V, you were running the
That's right.
creative business
That's right.
there. So could you
That's
just take us
that's right.
back in time around 2002 or something when you were thinking about this movie and what's going on in your head?
So actually, I'll just start off with what you said, which is Channel V. I quit Channel V on 31st December 1999. The idea was that, okay, bahut ho gaya, television. And I decided I wanted to make a film, but I had no fucking clue what I was going to do. It was just that, arrogance, if you want, or conceit, that I'll do something big, longer format now. And all I knew was I could do 4 minutes, 5 minutes. I could hold people's attention for 4 or 5 minutes. And I decided that would mean a bunch of scenes that would each be about 3-4 minutes, and I'll do it. So I was very, I think in hindsight, I was very clear about that I wanted to make a movie. My biggest theme, that if you want, is this meek shall inherit the earth. So it's about my protagonists tend to be clueless people. Okay,
Like
including Quick
most
Gun,
of
if you
us.
want. Exactly. So the whole idea was that drama can happen to anyone, and a lot of dramas lived inside. So Waisa Bhi Hota Hai was actually an externalization of that.
And this was a fairly small film, right? For the time. I think this was made on a
Very,
fairly
very
small
small
budget.
film. It was made on a budget of 95 lakhs. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a very, very tiny budget. And we shot it on film. That ate up pretty much most of it. And borrowed all the called in all the favors. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like way before digital, right? I mean, digital wasn't around back then.
Oh, yeah. Way, way before.
So, Shashank, you were already in the creative industry, right? Like you said, although you had quit Channel
Yes,
V,
yes,
but it's
yes.
always tough to get your first film rolling. So I'm wondering, like, once you had a germ for the film, how easy or tough it was to get going off the blocks?
I can only look back and say I was lucky. I basically what had happened was someone, a very dear friend of mine, was doing a very big movie, and at that time he was broke, so he was staying with me, right? Despite doing a big movie, okay. His wife was staying with me, and he kept asking me, "What the fuck are you doing? You sit and write every day." So I said, "I'm just working on this stupid idea. I don't even know if it's good." Okay. And one day he said, "Can I read it?" And he read it, and he said that, "What are you doing day after tomorrow? I'd like you to meet some people." Took me across, and there was this lady there, and one young boy. They sat, and when I was narrating it to them, they were like had this very stone cold expression, which my heart sank. I was like, and at the end of it, I apologized to them by saying, "I'm sorry, I wasted your time." And they were saying, "No." Then I realized that basically the son explained to me that it was I was so wrapped in what was happening that there was no time for expression or anything. Oh, okay, that's good then. Then nothing came out of that. My friend's big movie also didn't work out. Some 9 months later, suddenly I get a call from this guy saying, "Dude, you want to meet up?" I said, "Okay." He said, "Listen, I want to do that film. I can't get the film out of my head. I want to do that film." He was some 26 years old then. And I was like, "Dude, do you even know how to put it together?" He said, "Come now, we'll do it. We'll do it somehow." And we did, man. Except that, how money was saved was that I told him I'll write some placeholder dialogues. And then we'll get a dialogue writer to write the dialogues. He said, "Okay." Then I wrote the dialogues, and he said, "Can I read it?" He read it. He said, "We don't need any dialogue writer. These are dialogues." And I was like, "Okay, I'm good with that." Right.
The dialogues are damn good, by the way. And Shashank, do you
I
mind
got nominated. The
sharing?
only film I got nominated for. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. Do you mind sharing the name
Yeah.
of your friend who was helping you out?
Yeah, Samir Gupta. Samir Gupta is the producer of this film.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And which
It's
film was he working on? You said he was working on a big film?
no. Oh, my friend. You're talking about my friend, the guy who took
Yes,
me
yes.
there, dragged me there. That's Aditya Bhattacharya.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
guy who
So,
made. Yeah, the guy who
yes,
made
yes,
Dubai
yes.
Return and
Rock. Yeah.
Rak.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. By the way, I got to ask you that at the end of the movie, you thank a bunch of people like RGV,
yeah.
Kitano, Cohen
Coen
brothers,
Brothers, Kitano, yes,
everybody, and
Tarantino,
you thank them
Coppola,
sincerely. But when it came to Aditya, you only said thanks.
because he got that. He got that much.
I'm just kidding.
He understood. He understood. No, he understood. The film wouldn't have happened without him.
Right, right,
So people you know, they get your brevity. People you don't know, you have to be a little more polite. And
right, right. Have you worked with Aditya before? Like, did you work on Rock and those movies as well?
no. In fact, I was very. I still till date I tell people that you ever want me as a creative producer for Aditya, you have me. I'll make sure he'll give you the film that he starts out telling you, because he's such an amazing storyteller. I wrote a film on him. It's called a documentary about fiction. Never came out. I mean, I didn't make it. He
Okay.
kept telling me, dude, you should do this one, man. He's just such a talented man. Such a talented man.
Oh man, Shashank, you gotta connect me with Aditya. I would love to have him on the podcast.
Anytime, I would immediately after this podcast, I'm going to mail you and mail you and him together.
Thank you so much,
have to
because
talk. That
Rock
man-
is one of my favorite films, and I would love
That
to have
man
him.
is just outstanding. The man is outstanding and deserves to make film because he dreams films.
Yeah, I
thinks
always
film,
wondered
and
he
they're
hasn't made a
also-
film in a while, right?
Because he half the time he's in Barcelona, then he keeps trapped, then he shows up here and he'll do something nice. But have a chat with him, man. I mean, I'm telling you, I to keep saying that I am there for you whenever you want to make. But you got to listen to me and not do your stupid deal. See, the thing is, Aditya came at a time, he was so far ahead of his time that everything he did was so out of the box, yet hardcore, solid masala, right? Yet out of the box. So then what would happen is that he'd have to cut deals with lightmen, producers, equipment. That habit still carries on. And I keep telling him, dude, we don't need to do all that now. Now, there are guys who do all that. You just stick to storytelling. That's it.
Right, right. Okay,
Yeah,
I see. So that friend was Aditya Bhattacharya, and the producer was
yes.
Samir Gupta, you said.
Samir Gupta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you got rolling, you got the money, and was it easy
Yeah,
getting
we
the
got
money
the
you
money.
wanted?
No, he got some money. Then by the time I was learning the game, right? In Channel V, one didn't have the luxury of having assistants and all. You are director, assistant director, everything rolled into line producer, production, location manager, everything in one. And the only place you put out money was to hire a DOP. So the DOP that I used to hire regularly, Andre Menezes, I told him, dude, I'm going to make a film. You want to make one? Because he never made one either. He said, come on, let's make. Then I told him that I will not have monitors on set. So he said, what do you mean? No video assist. So I said, no, because I don't want actors wasting time on that. Right? So he was like, you don't fuck around, man, because I'll be stuck with having to look for everything. I said, yeah, this one you have to. So there were no video assists, nothing. I stood like old style, stood next to the camera and directed.
But that's the beauty of the first film, right? I mean, it's all like a patch of job, but it's memories for a lifetime.
Now it's like war stories, yeah.
Right. And Shashank, like so many smaller films from that time, Waisa Bhi also feels perfectly cast. I know that Shruti Seth, who also plays a small role in the film as part of the barista trial, was the casting director. Can you talk a bit about casting of the film, the lead and even Anand Zog, Pratik Patni? I would love to hear those stories.
No, I mean, I never had Warsi in mind, Arshad Warsi. So I didn't know him. And in my head, he was like mainstream boy who only did loud, externalized roles. And then Sam kept telling me, meet him once. And then one day he told me, what are you doing? So I said, I'm doing. He said, let's go. I'm going partying. Come with me. So I went, and then we were in Warsi's house. And I fell in love with Warsi's house. His dogs, Maria. It was just like a very normal family. It's not what I had expected. Right. And then he and I sat in one corner and we chatted for some time. And I said, listen, I don't know what the agenda of this thing is. I thought it's a party, but if you'd like, I'd like to meet you a couple of times and have a chat with you. And he was like very different from the, happy-go-lucky person that you get to see. He was like, sure, man, whenever. So the next day we met over a coffee. I walked him through the script. He said, I want to do this, man. And I said, if you want to do this, that's great. Because by the time I was talking to him, I have this thing. I say, I'll start talking. Either the offer will come out or it won't. That's been my standard. I've hired people like that. I've got legends come to me and I've never given them a job. And I've had complete strangers walk up and they've got jobs within 15 minutes.
So you guys really got on together, yeah.
Meaning, I could see him in that. And then I did some horrible things to him because I sat and chatted about life. And I used all of that in the film. To say, oh, you remember what you told me about that time about your sister? Like that, I want. Because so I actually exploited a lot.
Yeah, how much of the film is autobiographical? I mean, I know that you were a copywriter once, so
it's like a degrees of separation thing. I mean, the character of Warsi's character, Puneet Syal, that guy is based on basically. I am from advertising, so I knew the advertising world. But when I was in Channel V, there was this guy I used to work with. Amazing artist, amazing guy, right? But knew every guy in the underworld. And it was like, wow. I mean, and so I've been with him. He used to say, like, Shashanka, you want to go out? I'm going to meet some guys. Lucky Ali is coming there. You also come. So I was a sucker for music. So I went up with him. And there I saw, hung out with Lucky a bit. And then I saw these two guys there, young guys, by today's standards, very coolly dressed. But that time, not many people wore their shirts tucked out. And then I realized they had guns, right? So stuff like that was happening around me. And I used to listen to Samrat's crazy stories. So I told him that I'm going to use this. And he said, sure, go ahead and do what you want. Yeah.
And this is what, the mid-90s, late 90s?
Through the 90s.
Through the 90s, okay. Got it.
Yeah, mid-90s. More like mid-90s. Because that's when the formative stuff was happening for me. I had just come from Delhi, one lovely little provincial boy who was thrust into this organized crime on one side. Basically, the line that Vishnu, Prashant Narayan's character says, "हम थोड़ा ये रास्ते के अंधेरे में चलते हैं, तुम बीच में चलते हो."
Right. And what about the casting of Prashant Narayan and also Sandhya Mridul?
Again, the original, I was obsessed with Irfan Khan. And Irfan was obsessed with that role. But he didn't want to die. And he was saying, "Kyun maar raha hai yaar? Kyun maar raha hai? Kyun maar raha hai?" For 6 months, we flirted. And in my head, I kept telling Sam, I think Irfan will do it. But last minute, I think something happened. He got some other project or something and he bailed out. Prashant, in the meantime, I'd seen in a film for Hansal's film, outstanding film.
Yes.
Chal.
Yes.
So I was very blown with him. And then I met him. And he was larger than life in life, man. I mean, he's still like that. He's amazing. But what a fine actor. So then, Warsi and him, and at Warsi, one of Warsi's parties, Sandhya Mridul walked up to me and she told me, "You got this character, apparently a cop. I'm doing the fucking character." And she had this hair till her waist. And I told her, "You're going to have a crop top, man. You're going to have to cut your hair." And she said, "Fuck off. I'm not cutting my hair. I'll do a wig." And then, I want hair. And she cut it and just showed up. I said, "Now I have no choice but to give you the job." And she said, "Yeah." Right. Anand Jog was with a caster with Shruti. And Shruti said, "What about?" I was like, in love with him. Fuck, he's dangerous. He's lethal looking, man. Right. Then came Gangubai. Gangu was Pratima. I had seen in a film, E-Nivas film, Chul. Right, which is about Bihar. And she had only one line in that film. And I was like, I want that chick, man. Somehow let's get that woman. And the first film, you are less, you don't know the rules, you don't know the laws. So a lot of experimenting was there, and a lot of it worked out. A friend of mine showed up. He actually was a Gurkha who was in Siachen, and he had his fingers, he had his fingers cut off by frostbite. So he became a gunman called Ongli, whose fingers he used to cut, and the whole Japanese
Yeah,
Yakuza
yeah, yeah.
story was woven into
Yakuza, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Then
But
AC Roy showed up, and I told him, Ace, you want to work on a film? He said, yeah, why the fuck not, man? And so that's how he came into the film. And then we built in the Yakuza story.
yeah, all the supporting cast is great too, like Pankaj Saraswat and all those guys.
Yeah. So Pankaj Saraswat was a producer, director with me in Channel V. And when he heard that I was doing a film, he showed up and he said, I'm an actor actually. I feel like, you're a liar. Like, but he said, no, I'm an actor. And you see, I'll audition for you and all. So I said, come now, we'll work here. And so he came on board.
Before moving on, I just want to say that Anand Zog is a Maharashtrian actor, and I'm Marathi,
Yes.
and so I know him very well. And that shtick that he did for the very first time in Waisa Bhi, he kind of kept on repeating that. He even does that in Sarkar. But it's the "Tuja I lie," that thing that he keeps on saying. He kept on doing that in 2-3 films afterwards.
I don't know about that, but I remember Anand's opening thing was I was sold on him the first time we met. And so then I called him back another time. Then I called him back another time. I wanted to just chat with him about the role. So I kept talking to him about the role. The fourth time I called him, he told me that when you want to decide. So I was a little taken aback. So I said, what do you mean? So he said, you've called me 5 fucking times. When are you going to decide? So I said, what do you mean? I mean, it's not entering my brain what he's saying. And he thought he was not cast. He thought I was just toying around with him. And it took him a couple of meetings to realize that he's cast. I said, Anand sir, why the fuck would I keep calling you otherwise and discussing the role with you? He said, ऐसे बहुत लोग होते हैं बुलाते रहते काम नहीं देते. I said, नहीं आप हो. Yeah. Why would I waste your time, man?
Great. Let's start talking about some of the scenes. I think that's how we will just keep this casual. The scene that we got to talk about is the Pratima Kazmi intro. Like you said, where she's sharing a custom among the Yakuza of paying for your mistake with your finger, like literally with a chopped off finger. And that scene also kind of riffs on classic Gabbar Singh scene from Sholay.
Yeah. No, I mean, when I was telling about Pratima, I said, listen, I want to do it my way and you don't interfere, okay? Then once I'm done, then you can do. Now, that's all fine, except we're shooting on film. And it was a very long monologue, right? And I had this very elaborate shot, right? So I told her, Pratima ji, I'll, cut it off if it's not working out because I'm shooting on film. And she stared at me. And I just shut up and I said, okay, fine. First take, you do the way you want to do it. And fuck, man, I think we just ran out of the last bit on the first take. Otherwise, that was the perfect take. She was outstanding. I had chills. So, and I told her at the end of it, like, fuck. Meaning, I forgot to say cut. And DOP is telling me, we've run out of film, man. And he called cut. Right. And she stopped. And I was like, I am blown. Her scene there and Warsi's English.
Oh boy, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, which was a take on that. What was that? Where sunblock? That famous guy. What's his name? Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It's a trip on that. Yeah. It's a riff on that. And Warsi said, "What the fuck am I reading?" I said, "Just fucking throw it because she doesn't understand anything. You are just fucking flying, okay?" And when he does it, and he said that, fuck, don't ever make me dub this again. And we were shooting non-sync. Right? So I was like,
live.
No, we were not shooting sync sound. We were shooting no sync.
Okay.
That I was going to dub the whole thing.
Oh, okay, got it.
The only way to do it fast. But we salvaged a lot of that one.
Yeah, even
So
that scene.
yeah,
I mean, Puneet's speech. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
it's one of the greatest advised
And he
ever
did
for
it so
copywriters. Yeah.
beautifully. He did it so beautifully, man. He just
And now, based on the stories that you said your friend told you, it seems like a good advice for actual copywriters that if you see a man shot and bleeding to death,
yeah.
do not help. So that makes sense. And Shashank,
that
sorry, go ahead.
yeah. No, no, you tell me.
The scene I want to talk next about is, one of the funniest moments from the film, and arguably, it's the greatest throwaway joke in Hindi films of 2000s. I'll just, I'll just rattle out the lines here, and I hope I get them right. But it goes, अच्छा सुन, वो जो black and white तस्वीर लगी है ना, वो तेरा बॉस है क्या? नहीं ग्रेगरी पे ग्रेगरी बैन रखा है क्या?
नहीं थोड़ा आगे ले.
ईस्ट में नाले के पास हाँ.
That's improv, huh?
Oh wow, okay.
So I've given them the scene, and we'd always do a customary run through for the camera, and we do the scene, and these guys just don't stop. And finally, Andre says, "Okay, let's roll, yeah." So we rolled, and again they're waiting for me to say cut. I'm not cutting, and they are just at it. बांद्रा का उस पार अच्छा सुन ये वो and I'm like loving it. That's when you know they've gotten into character.
So the
There was a
scene was
very
what?
nice,
That there is a picture of Gregory Peck in the office, and he just asks
yeah,
who
it's a
that person
usual
is.
advertising setup, and there's a defensive dryness to Warsi. I love the way he pulled that scene off because he's defensive about this gangster coming to his office, yet he's his friend, and he pulls that off very beautifully, and Prashant's character Vishnu is Vishnu. He's unafraid and fucking yeah. Oh right, okay. But that was just I had seen that and I just said that if you want to bring this art thing in, and Prashant said I'll do it. And he brought him the Gregory Peck, but ये कौन है? अच्छा, Christian है क्या? Like that, huh? The
Yeah.
other one that I love is, and that's a great scene actually. They're all in the van going off to see that Sajna song. And Prashant's telling the story about कि सरदार ने बोला फिर एक म्यान में दो तलवार नहीं हो सकते. Prashant couldn't stop cracking up on that line, man. And Warsi, but the beauty is that scene ends in a gunfight. And while we were prepping for it, Warsi was helping out because Warsi had done it all. But when we call the shot, the only guy who doesn't duck is him because he's a copywriter. He doesn't duck. He doesn't know what's happening. He's just looking around until Prashant pulls him down like that. I thought again that was like a really beautiful moment.
Yeah, I can imagine that on a film like this, there must be a lot of improvisation, especially, if you guys are having fun. I mean, it's bound to happen.
I mean, I think at that point it wasn't fun, man. It was just like a miserable series of things to do.
Really?
Trying to
Okay.
manage dates and try to shoot it all in some 35 days. It was like, plus I'd overwritten the film. When by the time we finished it, my editor told me, you got two 2-hour films. And I was like, shut up. He said, no, you got something wrong in your screenplay software, man. And I went back and checked. There was a timing thing. I'd forgotten that. So it was like overwritten like mad.
Okay. And was the whole idea about the part 1, 2, and 3 always there?
Oh, that was because of that one. Some stupid Star Wars part
Oh,
6
right,
had come
right,
out.
right. Yeah.
So I decided it's got part 2 banana. And I still regret it. Because suddenly 1 week before release, no, not even 1 week, some 15 days before release, Sam comes up and tells me, fuck, no one's going to watch it because no one's seen part 1, man. So I was like, oh, fuck, now what do we do? So I said, just change that part 2 and take the part 2 out. And he said, we can't, it's too late. It's all printed and all. So then went back and edited the parts of it to make it part 1, part 2, part 3. The
Oh, wow.
prologue and
Okay.
epilogue.
Okay. Because they were worried that no one would show up because this is part two.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But it works out just nicely in the end. I mean,
yeah.
especially the way that you erase it and then it just says part two. Shashank, Puneet, let's talk about the character of Puneet for a minute.
Yeah.
Puneet's mind and his actions. He's always, doing the opposite of what his mind keeps on telling him. And that, again, that's like most of us, right? I mean, something that goes on in
Exactly,
our mind,
exactly.
and
So
we end up
that's
doing.
a bit, yeah, that's a bit autobiographical in that sense that, also I grew up in a slightly rough neighborhood in Delhi. So one always had people around, but some you even admired, but more out of a moral compass kind of thing, that they were very strong in their principles. However fucked up those principles might be, but they were strong in their principles. So, and they stuck by those rules. So, the whole thing was about a guy who wants to get rich quick and has a lot of schemes in his head, but life doesn't work out like that. And he's a flawed character because he's disowned his own brother. Right? The whole idea was that, that my brother's in crime and brother's grown him up, but brother's in crime, so I'm not part of it. And has a perfectly good life where his ambition is 1 crore, 1 crore, 1 crore. And the shit but that I believe that anytime you do well, you have to go through a little bit of a, mess before you can come out of it. And then a lot of it is about you cleaning up yourself internally also. That these are my rules and your rules break and you make new rules and then you go on. So I felt that was the journey of his character. Everyone wants to get rich quick, man. There's a price to pay.
And another interesting thing about the film is the way that Puneet's character and Agni's character. I mean, she's like the strong woman, and she's essentially a tough cop. There's also a scene where we find out that all the male cops in her department sort of like hate that she's getting all the attention. And Sandhya Mridul is so good in that role, and I just love Agni's character because it's pretty. It's not just a strong character, but she kind of lends that kind of I don't know if spine is the right word, but kind of the strong spine to Puneet's.
Spine
thing.
is and clarity. I maybe because I've grown up around a couple of very strong women, and they always never seem to have any internal doubt. Puneet is full of internal doubt. She is clear. She's very
Right,
clear.
exactly.
And that is a skill or a gift, that where people just bring it down to will I do this or will I not? Right. While he's going through, if I do this way, then that's kind of, So he's layered in his thinking, while she's utterly clear. And the spine word comes out because I told her that, when you walk now, you can't walk like a hot chick, okay? In one scene, I'll let you walk like a hot chick. The rest of it, you walk like you've got a rod up your ass, which is connected. Your spine is like that. And she was like, okay.
Yeah, but she was so good in the film, I think. And again, another actor that I wish we got to see more often.
I know. So she's still a friend. Warsi and I bump into each other because we're in the same neighborhood. But
right.
Sandhya I meet a little more. Yeah.
Right. And the music of the film, Shashanka, I mean, it's I love all the songs from the film, including the Punjabi rap. But Sajna is like my favorite from 2000s, and even Tum Bin Dum Bin is so nice. And of course, Allah Ke Bande.
That was a mad story actually, because I wanted my boss from advertising. My boss, he's a great musician, but Punjabi rap is his actually. He had originally he was a percussionist, and he used to just doodle around while after briefing me. He used to just sit and either play a guitar or play a bass guitar, or very good with instruments. So when this happened, I called AD and I said, AD, you'll come and do this film or what? And he had never published anything in his life. He said, come, I'll come. And he wrote a song, which is an opening song that Rabbi sings, called Londia. Now, when he wrote the song and he gave it to me, I said, I can feel something here. I'm not being able to put my finger on it. And he said, just take the word Londia out and put India. and it becomes a political protest song. And fuck, it was just beautiful. And I said, we have to do this song somehow, man. So we did that. Then he did the last song, and he did Punjabi rap, right? One afternoon, I was sitting with my daughter and Rajat Kapoor's daughter at a cafe, and sitting there, I was generally I was babysitting. Right behind me, Vishal was sitting, and suddenly he turned around and came to me, and he went, "What the fuck?" And Vishal at that time was younger, so I'm trying to shush him about, don't say what the fuck in front of kids. Right. And he goes, "What the fuck, man? Why can't I do songs for you?" I said, "You do a song for me. I need a song." And he said, "Okay, you come and meet me tomorrow." And next day I went to his office and we sat and chatted. And for the next 2 months, I was obsessed that time with a guy called Rabbi. Because Rabbi I used to on and off come and stay with me. And he had not published yet. And I loved all his stuff. I loved Challa. I loved all the stuff. So I said that I think Rabbi should sing it because I want a full Sufi vibe. Vishal kept saying that, okay, but at least let's get the lyrics and the thing right. Nothing, you don't like my compositions, you don't like my lyrics. And I said, dude, when it's not working, I'll tell you what's not working. Too filmy, too this, too that. And then one morning at some 6 o'clock, he called me and I was up for some strange reason, not like me to be up either at that time. And he said, when can you come over? So I said, I'll come now if you want. So I went over. And he just did one and played it on the keyboards. And I was like, fuck, this is it. This is it. Then he said, read the lyrics. I read the lyrics. And I was like, dude, whoever's written this is genius, man. It was just one of the most outstanding. I said, this is what I wanted to see. The ups and downs of life. And he said, okay. I said, who wrote it? So he said, I wrote it. When did you? He said, I wrote it this morning, man. It took me 40 minutes to write this. But it's been cooking in my head because you've been saying no to everything. And that was it, man. And then he kept saying this Kailash boy has to, sing it. And I was like, no, Rabbi has to sing it. And so we got Rabbi there. And I could make out from Vishal's expression, he was just being polite. Rabbi, that's all. He said he's not going to be able to do it. He said, anyway, you listen. So Kailash came. I saw this very small man in Bermuda shorts. He said, hello, sir. I said, haan, bolo. So I said, yeah. Then he started singing and one giant emerged, man. Like, what the fuck? Who sings like this, man? And then I told him, Acha, listen, the thing is, I need you to come on set and also I'm going to shoot this song. So I'd like you to be in the song. And he thought I was lying. Like Anandji also, he also thought I was lying. So he showed up there and I had costumes and all ready for him. And he said, haan, koi aake. He said, after, when we started shooting, he realized he had to be, he said, मेरे को गिटार बजाना नहीं आता. He said, कोई नहीं यार, हिंदी फिल्म है. तू बैठ के सिर्फ गिटार पकड़ ले, एक कॉर्ड बजा दे. And Vishal is rolling over with laughter on the side. But yeah, that's how it started.
And did you expect the song to be so huge?
No. I expect I just did songs that I felt fitted into the film. That's all.
Yeah, great soundtrack.
Sajna was Shivan. And I tried to get all the singers to be part of the film. Shivani, Kailash, Rabbi. So I was just trying to do that as a, thing. And I like the fact that, I'm going to shoot a singer.
Right. And
Kailash dies.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We will talk about the sequence, the visuals for that song as well. But just before that, Shashank, I just want to say that this is one album that, has aged really well. I mean, it still sounds quite as fresh.
Thank you.
And, it doesn't sound like it was done 20 years ago. So all of the songs. I really love it.
There's some great guys who worked on it, man. There's some great guys who worked on it.
Right. And the visuals, Shashanka, for this song, Allah Ke Bande is also such a Mumbai moment, if you will. It's shot at Land's End, one of the most instantly recognizable Mumbai locations.
That's right.
There's a street musician. There's a foreign tourist nearby who's filming the musician.
Who was an AD, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay. Hey, by the way, I got before I forget, who's John, the third from the Barista trio?
John Owen is a filmmaker. He did a film called Peter Gaya Kam Se with Disney.
Oh, okay.
That didn't release, but also an ex-creative director from Channel V.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Always wondered
And
if
that was
that guy
again
was
one.
also an actor. Yeah.
I like the fact that Hindi is being explained to him while he understands the Hindi. What do you call the twist on that basically?
Right,
Where
right, right,
Ranveer, he has to translate everything that Ranveer said. वो बोल रहा
right.
है कि
Right, right. Yeah, that the whole idea of that trio is very interesting. I mean, they're not really narrators, but they are the
no.
society that's
So
looking at what's
if I were to
happening.
do it today, I'd cut that out. If I were
Really?
to do it
Why?
today, I'd cut it out because I wanted to bring that film to 2 hours 5 minutes.
Okay. But it does add a nice touch, as in the sense that this is the lens that we are all looking through. The newspaper.
Yeah, no, that was the whole idea. Also, somewhere, I feel what filmmakers do, no, is the logic that goes from a scene to a scene is what makes a filmmaker's signature, if you ask me. It's how the edit is done. And for me, it was some kind of an explanatory logic that I was using of things the kind of shit that happens in life. And to use these three doing it, and all of them are great friends of mine. So it was good fun to just say, come, one day, let's do.
And going back to the song, can you tell us more about the way you decided to shoot this at Land's End and with the whole idea of a street musician and all that?
I see. I think at a core somewhere, subconsciously, I'd wanted to shoot it kind of in a very pleasant place. But at the same time, it had, I think, shades of Satya in it because it's Mumbai ka King Kon Corner. Right. So, and the whole thing about a guy sitting and singing, Puneet deciding that he's going to tell this guy everything, and just before he can, the gunfight breaks out. So I felt that was just the perfect place to do it in. And that entire thing is shot in less than a day because that and the song was shot in the day. And I remember my DOP telling me, Shashank, no one shoots a fucking song in a day. I said, you just shoot me this shit, man.
And the rest of the locations too. Where was Agni's home? Where was that shot at, those sequences? The one by
There
the
was a
window,
bar.
especially.
It's a bar in Juhu now, and it had been shut down. And I remember for some reason we were passing by, and I said, "What about something like this?" And he said, "That's a shutdown place, man. They're not going to give it." I said, "Somehow get it for us, man. If it's shut down, then what the fuck? Let's just do it up and shoot there." Yeah. And the only guy who approved was the line producer because he said, "हाँ नीचे base बन जाएगा." Production base बन जाएगा. That's all he was saying. कहाँ ले जा रहे हो? Production base का ही जगह नहीं है.
I see. So that was Juhu. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Now it's some
Ganpat's
very exotic
joined.
part. Say that again.
Ganpat's joined. Ganpat Enterprise.
Oh, that is in Warsaw. There's a fisheries office. It's one tiny little shed. So that became his place.
Any idea
While
if these things are still around?
The structure there, I get to see probably once a week, but
Okay.
it's become a little posher now.
Right.
At that time, it was just one little shack with a lot of land around it.
Right. It feels like Warsaw, yes, for sure. And
Yeah.
Gangu's joint?
That was in Kandivali. There was one set we went to. And
Okay.
I wanted a slightly Haveli old world feel.
Right.
So that we found there.
I see.
I was obsessed with this place I used to shoot in called SL Studios in Chembur. But the DOP said that, listen, let's go. We've shot too much. He shot so much in SL with me that he said, I don't want to shoot in SL. I was like, okay. And we found that in a really lovely way. It really worked out well.
Yes. I mean, I couldn't tell that it was a set. I thought this was like a real Haveli set.
No, it was a location that we propped up, yeah. There was no sets at all. Everything was location and done.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Actually, the first time I worked on sets is in Freddy. I prefer locations.
Yes. I like that film too. Yeah. Very nice. Is it true, Shashank, that the film was first titled Manohar Kahaniya? This is just something I read on the internet.
Yeah,
But
no.
oh, this is true. Okay.
That's what I wanted to call it. I wanted to call it Manohar Kahaniya. Yeah, I love B movie titles, man.
Right. Okay, so that is true.
Sam said absolutely fucking not, and I was like, okay.
And this is also the first time that Rabbi Shergill appeared on screen, right? Like you said, I mean, he was he had not done anything before.
His stuff hadn't come out till then.
Right. So many firsts in this movie.
I said, come, yeah, let's just do it.
And the tile card at the beginning of the film reads, this film is a mindless work of fiction. And then it's signed SVCG. What's the VC?
I don't. Oh, hang on. That also has a story behind it.
I figured, yes.
Hang on. I've forgotten this one now. Now, I don't know who SG is. Either it's Sam Gupta with a VC in it or like a venture capitalist.
Oh, right? Okay. Got it. Okay.
Right.
Right. And then how did the movie fare theatrically, Shashank? Was this did it break even?
Yeah, it definitely broke even.
Okay.
It broke even, but it was a very small way. The greatest compliment I got was from Manmohan Shetty, the AdLab, then AdLab's owner. We had gone to him for financing, saying that, will you give us credit for the film? And he said, you guys are spoiled, rotten television type people, and I'm not giving you credit. Threw us out. Sam's mother knew him very well. And he said, I've only given you the interview. I've allowed you this time to meet me just because of that. And I had gone with a whole spreadsheet that this is how we're planning the big thing. And he was like, you're a bloody director or you're a line producer? So I said, whatever it is, sir, pehla picture hai, karna padta hai sab. And he said, no. Some 6 months later, when the first day we were shooting on the floor, and Sam comes to me and says, yeah, that Mr. Shetty has been keeping tabs on us. I said, why? He said, he just called me to say that you have the credit. He said, I didn't think you'd come this far. And then when he saw the film at the end, he really, one of the nicest things, he was very, he's a very straight speaking man, almost on the verge of sounding rough. He patted me on the back and said, you're a good storyteller. You know, except their production value thoda kharab hai. So I said, no, my production value actually correct hai. So he said, no, you thoda seek, glossy picture banana seek. Then 6 years later, when he saw Quick Gun, he said the same thing. He said, yeah, फिर एक और अच्छा picture बना दिया तूने, लेकिन फिर production value तेरा वैसा ही है. So I said, sir, जो correct है वही करूँगा ना. So then he told me, 3 picture किसी और producer के लिए कर, जिसमें तू मत please decide कर कि कितना how much good dirt to show. So I call it my sellout trilogy, which started with Khubsurat, then We Are the Wedding.
Are you sure you want me to keep this bit?
Yeah, what the fuck? Ironically, those are the films that people call me for. I was trapped in this what is the word? What is that lovely word? Whirlpool of romantic comedies until Freddie bailed me out. And I kept telling everyone, guys, I know other stuff also.
Yes. No, I mean, I've seen all of your films. I haven't seen the show you made. I think it's called Hey Prabhu. I don't believe I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I don't think I've seen that. But you can tell that you're more at home with Waisa Bhi and Freddie, Quick Gun, Murugan.
Yeah.
That's your wheelhouse. You can tell. Yeah.
Today, I've just come from the producer. We've decided to do a film which is a Tamil remake. I don't have a problem with remakes because I keep telling them I'll do it my way anyway. Yeah. It's going to be my film in the end. So unless you tell me make it frame by frame, I'll make it like that. Even then, it'll be my film. So anyway, so there's a film called Aranya Kandam.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, Jackie Shroff and yeah.
So I'm trying to do a remake of that in Hindi now.
That would be lovely, Shashank.
And I wanted to do Super Deluxe.
Right.
But apparently you won't give Super Deluxe until you do Aranya Kandam. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll do that.
Yes. Same director, yes.
Yeah, Tyagarajan.
Yeah, one more thing I wanted to ask you was so Munna Bhai, I think, came shortly after Waisa Bhi, right?
That was Sam's greatest regret.
Yes, yes. I was going to ask you,
I was
did that affect Waisa Bhi's business? Because suddenly, like, Arshad Warsi
No,
was
we
so
released one
huge.
month before. We released 1 month before.
Right, right,
And
right.
Warsi kept saying, "Ruk ja, ruk ja, ruk ja." He said, "Ek aur mahina ruk ja, because there's my other film coming out and that's going to do well. I can feel it." Sam was by then tired, sick and tired of this whole thing, and he said, "Fuck it, I'm going." Bharat Bhai Shah is saying, "Let's go, let's go." So we went, and then 1 month later, all hell broke loose with Munna Bhai. And Warsi kept saying, "Bola tha main, iske baad kar lete." But yeah, you're right. That was right. That was one
Because
of
I
Sam's biggest
really
regrets.
think because I really think that if Munna Bhai came out a little later, or maybe Waisa Bhi came out some other time, I mean, this movie could have had
Came after
legs.
Munna Bhai.
Yeah,
Yeah, if it had come after Munna Bhai, it would have really worked.
right.
Because Warsi was coming out of a long hiatus. And that's why he was saying, let that one come out. That's a bigger film. So that'll help us. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And then now going back to something you mentioned at the start, Shashank, that I read in an interview that you initially didn't like this film for many years. And then one day,
Yes.
years later, you happened to catch it on a flight and you said to yourself,
Yes.
so it
Yes.
looks like a decent film.
I came back and told my wife, fuck, that's not a bad film at all, man. And she just stared at me and said, I don't like, by the time I'm done with the film, I can only see the problems. I mean, it's a series, all with each film, it's been a series of, oh, fuck, we could have done that. Oh, fuck, we could have done that. So, Big Gun, again, it took me another 14 years to like it. And then this year, suddenly, I got a call from the London Indian Film Festival, which is going on now. And they said, we'd like to screen Quick Gun. I was like, yeah, fuck, do it. But can I have a copy of it, please? Because I don't have a copy of the film. So I was more interested in the copy. I don't know whether they screened it or not, but I was just saying, hey, if you have a copy, just send me a copy. Na? So yeah, but that's always been my problem. I have a huge problem with my films. Probably the closest that I've liked a film after making it is Freddy. And my friends keep saying that you're growing up, that's all. So, your levels, period of disappointment is going down.
Yeah, we keep on saying this cliched phrase that, it was ahead of its time. Sometimes,
But,
I mean,
the problem with that,
it's
if
true.
it's too ahead of its time, it doesn't help.
Yes, that's true. Like something like Murugan, I mean, would work like wonder today, I think, especially in the long form. Like you could literally like spin it off in a series.
Yeah. And we had a sequel for it called The Good, the Bad, the Idli. Right. And the thing with that is that the producer and I fell out, and the producer then shut down his company. A mad fuck who it took a madman to do that film anyway. But the writing of it was absolutely Rajesh Devraj, the writer, he written a brilliant script.
Yeah, that was a nice film. I remember watching that. I still have the DVD of that. I was looking for my DVD of Waisa Bhi. I had it, and I think one of my friends borrowed it and hasn't returned it for more than 2 decades now. So, so it's been gone. But yeah, I still have.
I used to have to keep a bunch of these films because someone would come from abroad and say, I want that, and I'd give it to them, and now I have none. I don't have anything. It's all right.
Any other interesting stories, Shashank, that you could share about the film? I have some other questions, but just want to make sure that we have covered everything.
No, I mean, that was just a series of everything was crazy, including one day I remember we shot like mad, and we had that location only for that day. And I had this very dignified first AD and Upendra ji, who passed away then from dengue. And he suddenly said, "Sir, ये तो नहीं होगा आज." तो ऐसे कोई बात नहीं, तो फिर आप लोकेशन चीज़ें लोकेशन नहीं है, आप काटो. ऐसे काटूंगा नहीं, करना तो सब कुछ है. And it was a whole office sequences, including that किधर का है ये बांद्रा Gregory Peck wala.
Oh man, I'm so glad you kept that. Yeah.
We shot 24 hours and my DOP went down with malaria. So, then next thing is suddenly for 15 days you can't shoot. And I'm calling Andre and saying, Andre, maybe I should have and Andre is feeling like shit. He's saying, maybe I should have, I'll come and shoot and all. I said, no. I'll get someone to shoot for me. I said, no. You will shoot it only. So it was like, in hindsight, when I look back, and I remember even Sam telling me on the last day of shoot, phew, it's done. He said, every day has been I don't know how this day is going to happen.
Shashank, you have done now what, half a dozen films since Waisa Bhi?
Yeah.
Is there any one thing that Waisa Bhi taught you that still remains with you today?
In fact, I tried to kind of hide Waisa Bhi and listen to other people, as Mr. Shetty had advised. And
but why is that? I didn't understand.
He just felt that I needed to understand more cinematic scapes. I think he meant basically gloss it up a little more. So working with Ria was a learning from there. But now I come to think of it, I really like what I did. And I would like to write. I'm working on an adventure film that I'm writing. So let's see. I want to do a Raiders of the Lost Ark, basically.
That's going to be a big budget film, right? It's going to be huge.
Yeah. No, that's one of the things that Channel V taught me. I can do things in small, but I think the story deserves a certain skip. So let's see. Now, yeah.
Right.
So for me, the biggest thing was at the end of it, looking at the industry and them saying that nice film, man. Didn't expect that. And I think the greatest thing was, I remember one screening where 3 filmmakers had come, and one of them was Farhan Akhtar. He'd just done Dawn. He was shooting Dawn, so he was a big dude. And he sat and tore into me. At that time, I hated him, but later I realized that was a compliment. That he was just there saying that you haven't taken it out yet. Fix this. You put it too much into this film. But in hindsight, I was very grateful for those sessions. Then there's another friend of mine, Pankaj Advani, who used to make some outstanding storyteller.
Yes. Unfortunately,
he came
no
and
longer
he said,
with us. Yeah.
Yes. He came and said, Ghosh Babu, tero picture banana aata hai. I was like, okay, theek hai. Because I used to do I used to ask him to do a lot of shots for me in Channel V. So he always told me, you're a good advertising person. You can't make a film. But when he saw this one, he said, fuck you, not to make a film. So that was high praise for me. Because he was another guy who was super critical about work. I mean, that's what it should be. It should be like that. I mean, Farhan, him. The idea is not to say nice things. The idea is to be able to point out flaws so that you learn from that. I learned from that. Yeah. So good experience, honestly, for me. I'm very grateful.
Great.
Just not very happy to see it on YouTube in bits and parts.
Right.
Because even the way Andre shot it, it hasn't aged. When I was looking at it, it's actually very, very doable right now.
Yeah, I hope you guys get a good print of this on the streamers because, like I said, and that's one of the things I like to do with this podcast is all these small films from 2000s or 90s that, should discover a new audience. And there is an audience for this. There is a huge audience for this. The kids just don't know about these films. So, nobody talks about them. You don't have round tables on them and stuff like that. But this is just my small effort to do something like that.
Wonderful.
So we're going to play a round of a rapid fire game I call Shoot.
Okay.
Where you're going to shoot back answers to the questions I ask without too much thinking.
I'll try.
Okay. And all of these, this is not going to be gossip or anything like that. It's just all film related or just fun questions.
Okay.
So
I must warn you in advance that I'm not a very film savvy person.
Okay. That's fine.
I don't watch too many films there.
Okay. You ready?
Go for it. Yep. Go for it.
Okay. A favorite movie of last 10 years.
Pushpa.
Favorite stand-up comic of last 10 years.
I'd have to say, I'm torn between Kunal Kamra and Abhishek Upmanyu.
The greatest comic of all time.
Oh, it would have to be that man, black man. I can't remember his name now. It's slipping, but
Okay.
it's definitely amazing.
Favorite Coen Brothers film.
Oh, all of them actually. But I love Blood Simple. I love Raising Arizona. I love Hatsaku Proxy.
Okay.
No Country for Old Men. Yeah.
Favorite Kitano film.
Oh, Violent Cop.
Oh,
Although
yeah.
Hanabi should be there. But my first film I saw was Violent Cop and I was blown.
Favorite RGV film.
Satya, I guess. Shiva also.
Yeah, Shiva is a nice film, yes.
Yes.
Favorite music video from 90s.
Music video. Indian or anywhere?
Any language.
Oh, oh God. Nice questions. I would say any Michel Gondry video, man.
Yeah.
Daft Punk, yes. Tarsem with his Losing My Religion.
Yes.
Right. Yes, and that Kylie Minogue video, but I think the Daft Punk video is just outstanding in its choreography.
Absolutely.
And the thought of around the world to be doing it like that was like brilliant.
Right. A present-day filmmaker whose films you look forward to.
So many of them. So many.
Anyone.
I'm still looking forward to Coppola, Spielberg. Yes, please. Scorsese, bring them in.
Okay. A genre which you would like to explore with long-form storytelling, like on OTT through episodic storytelling.
I think, the beauty about OTT and its form, I would say, anything that has a saga feel to it is just, it lends. I would want to do a web series on Cuckold, Kiran Nagarkar's book.
Oh, yes. Wow. Okay. Yeah. A deceased actor you wish you had a chance to work with.
Irfan, man.
And you came close, right? Yeah.
Very. Didn't know how big he was then or how big he was going to be, but just the vibe was just so outstanding.
An actor you want to work with?
All the big boys, yeah, because then you get the money to play.
But who's an actor that you would really love to work with?
I would say Ranveer Kapoor and Ranveer Singh are both just outstanding actors who really add value in the way they approach a character. Yeah, otherwise, what happens is big level actors tend to kind of stay within the persona. But these guys really add value to what they, it's just wonderful.
Yeah, especially Ranveer. I think Ranveer has so much untapped potential.
Yes.
Okay, and one film of yours which you truly think deserved more?
Truly think?
Deserved more.
None of them. I think Waisa Bhi Hota Hai. Honestly, Waisa Bhi Hota Hai, yes. I do feel both Waisa Bhi Hota Hai and Quick Gun are still very relevant. When I see the kind of stuff out there, and I get a lot of people telling me the same thing too, that, should have been out now.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have, Shashanka. Thank you so much.
Lovely.
Again.
What a great memory trip. Thank you.
You had a good time as well. I certainly had a great time.
What a great memory trip. Yes.
Thank you so much. If you liked the episode, do consider supporting the show. Your support will help me continue creating content like this. You can find the link for supporting the show in the show notes and on the pod website. Also, do share this episode on Twitter, Insta, or Facebook. And do subscribe, rate, and review the pod wherever you listen to your pods. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at loveofcinemasf8 feel free to reach out there or by email with your comments, feedback, and suggestions. You can find my email in the show notes. That's the episode. This is Himanshu signing off. And as always, thank you for listening to the Love of Cinema podcast.